Welcome to On Air with Kash. We're doing our first live in studio with my dear friend Ariana Tejero. She is a senior producer. I don't know where to begin with her. She was top of her class, Loyola Marymount. She's been traveling all over the world. She does everything from public relations to producing. She mentors. Ariana, what don't you do? Seriously.
That's such a kind intro, and he's right. First in person in this location, so we'll never forget it.
Never forget it. We've known each other for a little bit now, and we've had the pleasure of working together on a few things. I'm just really fascinated by your story. You're someone who's just very ambitious. I did read an article. We're like 0.02 away from valedictorian, and it's still something that makes you strive to just want. And I don't mean to like say it and rub it in kind of a way, but that like you weren't satisfied. It's like it was almost mine, but I feel like that kind of pushed you to have your drive to I'm going to take on anything.
Yeah, I think a lot of people in this industry, our industry, are competitive in that sense, and that is part of what drives us forward, having that end goal and wanting to be number one and wanting to be first, as long as it doesn't put you in a bad mindset, which, you know, happens to all of us. But you're right. You've paid attention to the detail, unfortunately.
But with that, it's incredible to note that Ariana is someone who strives for excellence.
Yes.
And you have demonstrated, I don't know who won valedictorian, but I don't know if anyone else knows
he
who
deserved it. I'll say that. And we keep in touch here and there, and he definitely
Okay, so that's cool.
Yeah.
I know it's good to have those healthy competitive relationships.
Yes.
And I've been there as well too. You've traveled, you got into public relations, and now you're a senior producer for a news network.
I did PR for a little bit just over the pandemic because I wanted to try the other side of what I do, just to kind of be well informed, because I think working in the industry, you should know each role, each aspect of what everyone does. You can have empathy for each different position, and that way you're well-rounded. You can bring more to the table. So I tried that over pandemic. It was a good learning experience, made a lot of contacts, definitely learned a lot about myself and what I really like. And I realized that I definitely like what I'm doing as opposed to PR, at least for now.
I come from that same mindset as well too. Growing up in the industry, I was fascinated by all elements. I was editing stuff when I was a kid, and then I was shooting stuff on the camera. And then it's amazing, like even after I graduated from college, there were so many things that I wanted to do. And I ended up going into the agency world for a bit. And then that led to some acting opportunities and then some producing. And an interesting thing, I know, like, because I'm a little bit older, but, you know, I think your generation was more cued into social media, where for me, it was something that I had to learn afterwards. And even after being in the industry world for a bit, I felt like it was kind of like the mid 2010s where social media really took off. Before then, you know, someone in my situation was like, okay, no, we'll just shoot it. And I don't know anything about public relations, but I think social media did help us get on that game as far as having our own control, marketing ourselves the way that we wanted to.
You bring up a couple points that I think are important. The first being social media, that for you, I mean, we're kind of the same generation, but it came in the middle of you being in the workforce. So you had to adapt to that different aspect of what was added to the industry. And in a sense, it cuts out the middleman, because you're right, you're doing your own advertising. And I'm not on it at all. So you brought up two things: editing, like video editing. I know you're really good at that. I'm not a video editor.
I do what I can.
Respect craft editors, because they are responsible for making all the content and everything we shoot really shine. So I don't do video editing. I'm learning, but I'm not good at it. And respect everyone who does. And then social media, I'm also not on, and definitely need to learn that at some point and get on the bandwagon.
I'm actually envious that she's not on it. I mean, I'd be lying. You know, you post something, you want to, oh, are people engaging with me? And there's such a pressure to be like, am I doing something relevant? And I think it's healthy that people are expressing it and taking breaks from social media. So I do envy your situation to a degree.
Here's the thing that I've noticed about it. I don't have anything against it. I just never got into it, didn't have time, and now I feel overwhelmed to start. But it's definitely a great connector, and it's a great tool. And nowadays that brand is so important. It's definitely necessary for artists, at least in my opinion. But also, you're right that there is this societal pressure, even when it comes to social activism. Like if you are posting all the time, you're expected to post at this frequency. And then if you don't agree with what's going on socially, then it's like, oh, well, why didn't you post this? Or why did you post this? So I respect people who are on it, because it's a lot of pressure to really like maintain what's going on. Also a positive thing, if you look at it, like people really love film and creating content. And even if it's of oneself, even if, you know, we wouldn't do that kind of thing, it's still creating content and it's still being a filmmaker. So it's in essence promoting our industry.
I've always tried to keep that very professional. If I have a movie to promote, or if I'm promoting some brand, or I'm working with some people, that's when I really take to it. But then one of the things we did mention was where people are, oh, why didn't you post about this? People have asked me the same question. It's like, I feel like I really need to walk the walk and be very insightful to know what I'm posting about, or if it's a cause that I'm personally very passionate about, because there is that thing. And I was seeing it a lot where it's people like, this is a popular hashtag, I have to have a story about this, or I have to be able to jump on this bandwagon just because they want to.
There's no intention behind it, and it's just vacuous because you feel like you're trying to fill a quota versus, okay, let me take a second, step back, and think of what I bring to the table on that particular issue.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that's really important to note. And you worked in campaigns, you also do mentorship programs.
Yeah, mentorship is very dear to my heart, and I think is to a lot of people in the industry, because once you feel like you're at the point where you feel self-realization, then okay, what's next? What's next should be giving back. And even before then. So I always, every day before I start my day, try to think about how can I help somebody, lift somebody up who's younger, and perhaps guide that person on the right path. So I'm really involved in our internship program. I run that on the side. And then outside of work, still work with my alma mater on promoting students who are in the broadcast TV journalism program, and also in the theater department. Because as we know, we both went to university, not everyone does, it's not for everyone, but it's difficult to land jobs, especially when you're graduating, because not only is it the pool of recent graduates, also everybody who moves to LA to pursue the industry. So it's good to have a support network and find a mentor.
Exactly. And that you do, and you fulfill it so well.
I work a lot in politics for what I do. So just as background, like Kash said, I'm a cable news producer. So I oversee the evening news content for where I work, which is 5 and 6 p.m. weeknights, and it's live television. So pretty intense deadlines. And then I also have a political focus. So for example, I got the privilege of, in this past February, hosting the first LA mayoral debate for the city of Los Angeles, which was an amazing experience. Got to work with LMU on that also. And then I also oversee some of the election coverage. So we have the midterms coming up, super excited for that. And we do like 8 hours of live coverage. So to answer your question, that's kind of the campaign sense of what I do, the political work, but still in the realm of TV.
Like I said, she does it all. She encompasses everything.
Still growing, still learning.
And I can learn something from her. I'm always learning stuff from you, but that was another thing, even going into this year, it's really living a life about passion, having a good, strong work ethic, at the same time, finding that inner balance. And you embody everything. She's someone who, short time we've known each other, she puts me in check. She's someone who I look at. So many people need to aspire to be like Ariana. Likewise. And she's definitely going to be back. We have a lot of stuff in the works that we can't wait to share with everyone here. And again, Ariana, we can't thank you enough for your time. Thank you, all of you out there who listen. You give us a reason to get out here, and you all inspire us. So you keep rocking.
Go Kash! Woo!